What's up guys, ShinyHunterDestroyer here and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon Journeys anime discussion video. Today I'll be talking about episode 69, which is titled Watch Over My First Errand. I'm not gonna lie, when I first watched this episode I wasn't expecting much. After watching it though, I can say many positive things about this episode, but I'm just really surprised that I'm super happy about it. This episode starts off with Ash, Go, and Chloe running an errand to pick up some supplements at the Pokemon Center. While they were at the Pokemon Center, it seemed to be that Eevee and Grookey were causing a bit of mischief. Go and Chloe get in a little teensy argument about each of their Pokemon's behaving and who was less childish, Grookey or Eevee, and then the two Pokemon just decide running across the street because that's a good idea. Go and Chloe race after them, and while they all get across the road safely, even after this though, both of them still love their respective Pokemon and call them all sorts of sweet. Ash eggs some competition on and recommends that Grookey and Eevee can finish up their current errand, and with that we have Eevee and Grookey carrying supplements back to the Cerise lab. Go shows Grookey where to go, and both Chloe and Go show their belief in both Eevee and Grookey, and with that they were off, with the whole gang following close behind just to make sure they don't get into a little bit of trouble. Speaking about trouble, Team Rocket tries to do some training but instead succumb to their craving for food and try to get something delicious to eat instead. This idea popped in their heads after a Vanillite and Appleton was pulled out of the gotcha machine. They had apple pie to eat, but they also wanted ice cream with that, so they send Pelipper to get the ice cream. Anyway, back to the normal gang. The Pelipper stuff will be important later. Grookey gets sidetracked and bonks a trainer's Geodude, and of course Eevee would follow along. Ash helps them get back on track though with Gengar, and after a few scares they got back on track towards the Cerise lab. Eevee and Grookey go and cross the road safely, but then a Pelipper in the sky starts swooping down. Yes, you can probably guess who that is. He's just trying to get some ice cream, man. Ash once again protects Grookey and Eevee, this time using Surfetched. This allows them to get across the road safely. Grookey gets sidetracked once again now, but this time by Team Rocket's ice cream truck, and yes, Team Rocket had an ice cream truck to help Pelipper with its errand. Yes, I know. While Grookey tried to get to the ice cream truck, Grookey drops some of the supplements in the process. Eevee notices this and remembers that Chloe said to Eevee about these being very important. This urged Eevee to pick up what Grookey dropped and continue her way to the Cerise lab, splitting the two Pokemon up. Team Rocket drops ice cream into Pelipper's beak and drives away since they helped Pelipper all they could. Grookey sees the ice cream and decides, I want some, so Grookey follows Pelipper and also gets into its beak. Pelipper flies away, bringing Grookey with it. Ash and Go see this and run after it while Chloe follows Eevee. Even though they followed each of the Pokemon, they ended up losing both of them in the end, so instead they head back to the Cerise lab to wait for Grookey and Eevee there. Grookey's having a little bit of a hard time after being dropped in a forest by Pelipper, and yes, Pelipper was able to get the ice cream for Team Rocket, don't worry. Even though Grookey didn't know where he was, he remembered Go's belief in him to bring back the supplements to the lab. With this in mind, Grookey ties the supplements to his stick and treks onwards to find his way back to the lab. Okay, now back at the lab, our three trainers are waiting, and as they stand there, the first Pokemon they see running towards the lab is Eevee with supplements in mouth. Eevee made it back safe and sound into Chloe's arms. Go looks on and is happy for Chloe. Chloe expressed worry, but Go said not to. And not a moment too soon, Grookey breaks the plane and they all spot Grookey, who obviously had a harder time than Eevee as he was staggering and struggling to walk. Grookey pushes through the struggle with tears and encouragement from Go and the rest of the team. In the end, though struggling, Grookey makes it into Go's arms. Go expresses how proud he is to Grookey and they hug it out as everybody celebrates. With this errand complete, everything is great, and the episode comes to an end. I don't know if I'm the first one to say something on the lines of, I wasn't expecting much from this episode, but when I got to it, oh my gosh, I got a lot from this episode, and yeah, I didn't only get things about Chloe and Go or Grookey and Eevee, but Team Rocket, he was here too, and the implication it sets in my head is just really nice, and Ash was here too, Gengar, Surfetched. I'm grateful for this episode for many reasons, so let's just get right into it, shall we? I'll finish my weekly, oh my gosh, Team Rocket and Pokemon talk early so I can start getting the other things that happened in this episode. As much crap as I've given Team Rocket this season, this episode, I loved them. Like, in my opinion, they just did a lot more in this episode than most episodes they have been in this season. I mean, I always complain about Team Rocket not having Pokemon. I didn't really connect it until now that Pelipper is also a part of the group, which, now realizing it, it actually put a little bit of ease into my art. And not only that, but seeing Team Rocket actually have interactions with Pelipper instead of Morpeko, why did you take our freaking food? It was nice. Seeing them watch Pelipper from afar, care about what was happening, and just supporting Pelipper, that's the sort of stuff that I've really wanted to see for a while. It made for good connection to what we got in the rest of the episode, too. And yeah, running errands was just the theme of this episode, and with running errands on the mind, we can switch out to Team Rocket and into Go, Chloe, Grookey, and Eevee. I think talking about them in groups will be easier for me, so let's start with Grookey and Eevee. Grookey and Eevee, the Pokemon of today's operations. 1, they were just adorable in this episode, but 2, this episode really highlighted the aspects of them that we knew of both of them and built on it. Grookey being the childish one and Eevee being the impressionable one, or the easily influenced. What do I mean when I say that they built on it? Well, let's take a look at Eevee first, who was also being a part of Grookey's shenanigans for half of the episode, which is an Eevee thing to do, as earlier in the episode it was stated when Go was talking about Eevee. Every time we see Chloe and Eevee, we see their bond and trust in each other grow stronger and stronger, and this time it was shown again. Even though we see it a lot, it's still, you know, it's nice to see. This was taken into effect when Grookey split up for some ice cream. Obviously some sorts of maturity in this scenario as well, remembering that they had something to do and wanting to make sure she pleases Chloe. Eevee doesn't follow Grookey here as she does every other time. What about Grookey? What was built on there? Okay, not much, not gonna lie, but what I did enjoy with Grookey is his struggle to do what Go wanted as well. Remembering back to when Go was talking to him earlier, that belief Go had, it was an adorable moment, and it shows some other side of Grookey's personality besides his childish side. What this episode really did to me was show that mature sides look different with other Pokemon, and it was a little obvious here. They both still realized what the end goal was in the end, with both of them thinking about pleasing their trainers, but they went about it in different ways. One more focused than the other, I guess, per se. Anyway, speaking about trainers, Go and Chloe's flow this episode was just so perfect when they were interacting with each other. Like, I love seeing them at first kind of competing, but in the end, it was all support, as they do, because it's Go and Chloe. What do you think? And what helped kickstart that dynamic is the perfect Ash placement in this episode. Since he has all the experiments on Pokemon ever, it makes sense for him to just take a leader role and just go with it. He basically took the debate that was happening and just thought of a way to solve it, and after that he helped Grookey and Eevee stay on track. Not only that though, but we saw Gengar. There's always talks about we don't see too many of Ash's Pokemon, but more people can say that we don't see enough of Ash's Pokemon in non-training and battling scenarios. Welcome to Journeys episode 69, where Gengar decides scaring his friends is the best way to handle things. Okay, I really liked how they included Ash's Pokemon in this. Well, we got Gengar and Sirfetch'd, but it's a welcome addition to this episode because we don't see much of them at all. They helped Ash fit the more leadership role after all, since they were out there making sure Grookey and Eevee don't get into too much trouble. Okay, now with Ash out of the way, I can talk about Go and Chloe. When they were following, making sure their Pokemon weren't getting into any mischief or, you know, unfortunate scenarios, like, I don't know, just hitting a Geodude with a stick or something. They were like the same people, being all worried sick and worrying about, you know, if their Pokemon could actually complete the errand. Though of course they would worry, they showed lots of emotions that help shows what they were thinking from beginning to end. Both Chloe and Go started almost the same way and ended almost the same way. That proud feeling at the end for both of them was a powerful scene. And the last scene was a powerful scene. Holy, like, we had Eevee be the first to arrive, and while Chloe was hugging Eevee, and even though this started basically from a debate of which Pokemon was less childish, Chloe worried about Go and Grookey while Go smiled on. Go still believed, and that cued even more power with Grookey walking back, noting some things about our characters. Ash saw Grookey fall and rushed to help it, but Chloe held Ash back. Chloe most likely knew that Go would want Grookey to make it all on his own too, and that could be because of many things. Because of how this started being a competition, maybe, but in my head, it's all about just being able to achieve the end goal, the feeling of getting there, making sure this monumental moment wouldn't end with giving up, but celebration. After all the belief that Go said to Grookey earlier in this episode, and after feeling that joy with Eevee making it to the finish line, that could have persuaded Chloe, and luckily for me, it ended up as a tearjerker, and we all know me and tears. But overall, this episode was really enjoyable. It's filler, sure, but honestly, this episode packs a lot with more Team Rocket and Ash's Pokemon, but still doesn't take away from the central part of the episode, Grookey and Eevee, and especially that ending. Seeing the different ways these Pokemon act was a delight since we don't really get too deep into those things in Journeys. In the end, a great episode to watch that even though it didn't need to deliver too much, the writing and the power in that final scene made me really happy with it in the end. And that's going to be it for this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did enjoy, please consider hitting the like button because that is super highly appreciated. If you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more of my videos. So I know I've been slow on comments lately, and I apologize. I do read everything, but with this week being really jam-packed with lots of just stuff, I haven't been able to get to it. I still read all those comments, and I'll be happy to read what you guys send this week. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Have a nice day, guys. Peace out.